to a special episode of Hero TV. I'm your host, Alex Hampton, and on today's episode, we'll be ranking all 8 of the Spider-Man films. Now, if you are brand new to this channel, I want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also, hit that bell right next to it. That way you get all the notifications of the things that we're doing here at Momentum Media. A lot of cool things are happening on this channel. I currently run 2 shows, which is Hero TV, where we talk about superhero news, TV news, and a lot of cool things that are happening in comic books as well. So if you want a lot of superhero stuff, come see this show. Also, if you want to watch my other show, which is called Ask Alex, where I take all of your questions, whether it's from Twitter, Instagram, or you could just simply email me and I answer them on that particular show. We talk about a lot of movie news, we talk a lot about breaking news, a lot of castings. So it's a lot of cool things that are happening here on Momentum Media. Also, we're going to be doing a lot of comedy stuff, a lot of monologues, and a lot of short films and feature films here on this particular channel. So if you're new to this channel, I would like to welcome you and also thank you for watching this particular video. Now that I've got out the way, let's go ahead and jump into the number 8 ranking of the Spider-Man films. So number 8 is no other than SpiderMan 3. Now SpiderMan 3 in itself is not really a good film. It's actually the last film in the Sam Raimi franchise. Now, to be 100% honest with you, I am not necessarily a big fan of this movie. I think the first 20 minutes of this movie are pretty good, but from that point on, we literally see a roller coaster. We see Peter doing weird dances on the curb. We see Peter walking down the street like this and pointing at people. Like, I just thought that was stupid for a film. And not only that, we also see Peter have this emotional roller coaster with his girl MJ. I guess they don't understand what it's like to be in a relationship. I don't know. This film is all over the place. And not only that, the villains are subpar at best. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sandman did look pretty cool, but for the most part, he was not believable. Also, Venom, not that great. He actually looked pretty stupid, very scrawny, and he didn't look scary at all, to me at least. And also, this weird dynamic between Peter and Harry where they're fighting each other, and Harry is the new Goblin, and then Harry forgets his memory, and then he gains it back, and then they fight again. It's just all over the place. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Tobey Maguire did a good job for what he had, but ultimately, this film falls short. That's why I had to put it at number 8. So let's go ahead and jump into the number 7th pick, which is no other than The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, like most people, this film kind of fell off for the most part, but I have to say, this is actually a good sequel to the Andrew Garfield series. Now, personally, I actually really enjoy what Andrew Garfield did as Spider-Man. In this particular film, I actually like the relationship dynamic between him and Gwen. I actually like the fact that he had to struggle between being Spider-Man and not being with Gwen because of the promise that he made to Gwen's father in the previous Amazing Spider-Man film. So I get those dynamics and the things that happen in that particular film. What falls off for me is actually the CGI and also the fight scenes between him and Electro. I'm not gonna lie, from most of the fight scenes kind of look like a video game movie. But ultimately, I did like his portrayal in the movie. I like what he did with his web shooters. I like what he did by upgrading his costume, and I like the fact that he is happy at the fact that he's Spider-Man, but I also don't like the fact that we do see him go through somewhat of an emotional roller coaster. He wants to be Spider-Man, now he doesn't want to be Spider-Man. He wants to be Spider-Man, now like, make up your mind, dude. Like, but seriously, it's actually a pretty decent film for what it was. So that is my number 7 pick. Number 6 has to be no other than the original Spider-Man, Spider-Man 1. Tobey Maguire. When we see Tobey Maguire's first take on the Spider-Man that we know. And I have to say, this film has a special place in my heart because we actually see Tobey Maguire go through the motions of having powers. We see him fighting in the wrestling ring. We see him looking for Uncle Ben's killer. We see him looking for justice, and we see him craft his suit. We see him draw it. We see him build it. And we also see him learning his powers. So I think that in this particular film, it had a lot of great origin moments when we saw him become the hero that we know and love. And it's a very nostalgic film because we see Peter interacting with J. Jonah Jameson. And in most cases, in films, we don't really see those supporting roles interacting a lot. So we see Peter working for the Daily Bugle. We see him taking pictures of Spider-Man. We see his banter between J. Jonah Jameson. And it's a timeless movie because it's actually pretty cool. This downfall of the movie though is seeing Green Goblin. I'm not gonna lie, Willem Dafoe did a good job, but his suit looked terrible. It literally looked like a Halloween costume that just went bad. I'm not gonna lie, it just went bad. And for the most part, he is menacing and believable, but I have to say, the costume really took me out of it. You know, it literally looked like a really bad costume job. So for me, it just didn't fit for me in this particular film. So that is the reason why that is my number 6 pick. Now my number 5 pick is no other than SpiderMan II. Now, no, sorry, The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man is the first film of the Andrew Garfield series. Now, kind of like the Tobey Maguire movie, in this particular movie we see the same type of elements with Andrew Garfield, but it's actually enhanced a little bit better. And what I mean by that is that in the original Tobey Maguire movie, Peter has organic webs. In Andrew Garfield's original movie, we see him actually building the web shooters, but we actually see him having trouble building the web shooters. And not only that, we actually see him craft his suit by using like super weird spandex, and you can tell it's a very beginner suit. Like once the finished product is done, the beginning suit looks like a amateur put it together. And to a degree, it has a lot of nostalgia to it because when I look at Peter Parker's journey in the comic books, that's kind of like the same way Andrew Garfield portrayed it in the first Amazing Spider-Man film. So personally, I think that the film is actually pretty good. I like the fight scenes between him and the Lizard. I like the banter between him and Gwen. I like the fact that we saw Peter struggle with being Spider-Man, but also dealing with the fact that he has these powers. You know, like it was a really cool balance between those particular in that particular film. So for the most part, I really did enjoy the movie. The downfall in this movie was, you know, it was not enough Spider-Man to me. I think that we saw too much Peter Parker but not enough Spider-Man. And now my number 4 pick is no other than SpiderMan II. Now SpiderMan II is Sam Raimi's crown jewel. I could make an argument that SpiderMan II could have gotten an Oscar in this year because Spider-Man 2 had an amazing villain, amazing story, amazing battles, amazing fight scenes. I mean, the film in itself is literally a classic. Like, it is a classic. Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 hold up in today's time in 2019. Now, I have to say, for the most part, that movie had a lot of great things going for it. That's why a lot of people were excited for Spider-Man 3 when it came out. But when we saw that particular film, we all know how that ended. And we also saw Peter lose his powers and become human. He has to adjust now to being a human. And he wanted to be with MJ. And not only that, we see Spider-Man quit. We see him throw away his costume. And we see him saying, I'm done being this Spider-Man. Right? But we also see him struggle with the fact that he's not Spider-Man anymore. Like, we see him run into a burning building, right? And we see him saving a child. But he can't use his powers because they're not working for whatever reason. It's like a mental block. It's just not working for him. And for the most part, we see him grasp to the notion that, you know, I can run away from these powers, but I will always be Spider-Man. This was the first time where I saw a Spider-Man film villain work. And Otto Octavius was an amazing villain. So I think that that was a plus side for that particular film. And also, I have to say, the Daily Bugle stuff with J. Jonah Jameson just amplified from the first movie. My number 3 pick is no other than Spider-Man Homecoming. Listen, we get to see the MCU's version of Spider-Man. We get to see Tom Holland become the Spider-Man that we read about in comic books, where he's swinging on ledges, he's talking to the neighborhood, he's defending his own neighborhood, and we see the classic Peter Parker where he's interacting with his friends, he's interacting with MJ, he's interacting with his classmates, and we see him struggle with being a 15-year-old kid and being this superhero. Another cool thing, we see Tony Stark snatch his suit. But the cool thing about that is that towards the climax of this film, Peter realizes that he doesn't need that suit to be Spider-Man. And the villain in this movie, one of the best, aside from Otto Octavius, Vulture was an amazing villain played by Michael Keaton, and I can't wait to see how they're going to incorporate Michael Keaton's character in future Spider-Man films, because man, the Vulture was a menacing villain, and I think that they did a really good job showing the respect and the respect level between Spider-Man and Vulture. So that is the reason why Homecoming is my number 3 pick. Number 2 pick is no other than, and it was very close, really close, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Listen, we literally get to see Miles Morales' journey. We get to see Miles Morales become the Spider-Man that we read about in comic books. But the cool thing about it is that we literally watch him grow up and become a hero that he's not sure how to become. That was actually pretty cool. And also, I love the family dynamic in this movie where he's close with his mom and dad. He's close with his uncle. You know, he's close with, the other Spider-Man that he meets. So it's actually really cool to see how he becomes close with the different Spider-Man that come into the picture. By the way, the animation was amazing. Fight scenes were amazing. The storytelling was amazing. And it showed us that heroes come in all colors. And it was a very dope story to see how black people are being portrayed even as superheroes. So that was my number 2 pick. And my final pick of this whole video is no other than Spider-Man Far From Home. Listen, if you haven't seen my review, I challenge you to go see that review. But Spider-Man Far From Home is the best film, Spider-Man film I have seen of all time. It's the best. We literally see Peter become Spider-Man. We see him struggle. It's literally the Peter Parker that we watch growing up in animated series, comic books, video games, everything that we see, we have grown up seeing. This is the Peter Parker that we see in this particular film, and man, blows it out of the park every single time. So I really did enjoy everything that they did with this particular film. Thank you guys for watching my rankings of this film. Jump into the comment section below to let me know what you think. And also, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that bell so you can get all the notifications that are happening here at Momentum Media. And also, if you haven't already, check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Momentum Media. Every dollar that you donate helps me make great content on this particular channel. So thank you guys for watching this video, and as always, you have a blessed day. Thank you guys for watching this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube page to get more exclusive content coming from my YouTube channel. And if you want to watch my previous videos, go ahead and click on this video up here or this video down here, where you get to see more exclusive content coming from my channel. Thank you guys for watching this video, and you guys have a blessed day.